there guys, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me here. So we're going to be talking about the upcoming Crystal Lake TV show. It's due to land on Peacock. It's like a prequel to the Friday the 13th series, and it features obviously Pamela Voorhees. She was the murderer in the first movie. It was all about her and how she had to raise her son and how her son was killed at Crystal Lake, and then she went on a rampage and all that good stuff. But now we actually have the casting of Pamela Voorhees in this Crystal Lake series, and it's going to be none other than Linda Cardellini, who's had some fantastic roles in the past. I mean, she played Velma in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Also, she was Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers movies. So she's had some pretty fantastic, great roles in her career. And now it looks like she's going to add this one as well. Pamela Voorhees. It's a great character, and we'll have to see exactly how this show turns out. But let's dive into this article. Let's break down this information and see what's going on with this kind of Crystal Lake, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th TV show. And it'll be interesting to learn exactly what's going on here. So this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Avengers Endgame, Linda Cardellini, confirmed to play Jason Voorhees' mother in Crystal Lake. So like I already said, this is kind of like a prequel series, I believe. It's dealing with Jason as a young kid and her kind of being the mother and all about that kind of thing. So I don't expect we're going to see Jason in the way that we know him in the hockey mask. I don't think we're going to be getting any of that in this TV show. I could be mistaken, but I don't think they're going that route with what's happening here. So, following a 2024 rumor, we have a confirmation that the Avengers Endgame actress Linda Cardellini has officially signed on to play Pamela Voorhees in the upcoming Friday the 13th prequel series. So, it's been a couple of years since we got word that the new Friday the 13th prequel series is moving forward at Peacock, and we finally have our first bit of casting news for the show. By the way, guys, if you haven't been signed on to Peacock, I'm not paid to say this, and I'm not sponsored in any way, so I just want to put that out there. But Peacock is a really nice little streaming service. I recommend checking it out. They got some great shows on there, just to go off on a side note. So Jeff Snyder first reported that Linda Cardellini, Freaks and Geeks, No Good Deeds, and obviously Scooby-Doo, was in early talks to take on the key role of Jason Voorhees' mother in Crystal Lake last month, and Deadline has now confirmed that she has officially been cast. So it looks like Jeff Snyder hit the nail on the head. He got the news right there, that she has been officially cast as Pamela Voorhees. Cardellini also played Clint Barton's wife, Laura, in the Avengers Endgame and Hawkeye. Yeah, we all know her from the Avengers movies, obviously playing Hawkeye's wife. She gets dusted, and that was a pretty powerful performance. She did great in those movies. She's a fantastic actress, and I think they've really done well to land her in this role. So according to the site, this take on Pamela Voorhees will be a mother who has given up her singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son. So for those of you who do remember that first Friday the 13th movie, Pamela Voorhees is the murderer in that movie. She goes around and basically knocks off all these campers at Crystal Lake after her son, who has special needs and like deformities, he gets drowned while the counselors are kind of being negligent with her son, and she turns to the dark side and goes a little bit crazy. So that was kind of the first movie there, and it looks like this series is going to take place kind of telling that story before that first Friday the 13th movie. So, Brad Caleb Kane, welcome to Derry, came on board as a showrunner when Brian Fuller parted ways with the project last year. I remember the rights. There was like a rights battle with this whole thing about trying to get this TV show. They also lost like directors, and they lost the showrunner, and there was so much of a mess with this series. It looked like it was never going to happen, but now it's kind of fully in gear. Got the actors cast, got the showrunner on board, so all is good here. Fans have been waiting for something to be done with Friday franchise for many years now, but the news that Crystal Lake would be a prequel series dampened excitement somewhat. So, continuing on here, as did the caveat that the show couldn't even feature an adult Jason or his signature hockey mask. Yeah, I remember reading about this months ago when they were talking about this show. There was articles talking about the complicated rights to the TV show and the movies, that the TV show didn't have the rights to use the adult Jason or the hockey mask, the signature version of the character that we all know and love. And it was kind of like, well, what's the point in having a Friday the 13th show if we can't even get the signature kind of Jason Voorhees that we all know and love from the franchise? What would be the point? And it looks like the rights were kind of all up in the air, and people were kind of dampened because of that. But ultimately, I think they have worked out the rights now, so we'll have to figure out if we will in fact see a adult Jason with the hockey mask in the show. So fortunately, we would later learn that this as part of the initial report was inaccurate. Okay, so the rights issue was inaccurate. Okay, so speaking to Fangoria in a 2023 interview, Fuller confirmed that they can basically utilize anything available to them under the Friday the 13th umbrella. Okay, so they've cleared this up now when it comes to the rights to the TV show, that they can in fact use anything under the Friday the 13th umbrella. So that includes adult Jason, that includes the hockey mask, the machete, the signature kind of iconic way that we kind of all visualize the Jason Voorhees from the franchise itself. So that sounds great. So this is where we get more into the rights about what's going on here with the TV show. So A24 and Mark Toberoff, who is Victor Miller's lawyer, have beautifully and excruciatingly assembled all the Friday the 13th rights. As a streaming series, we have the rights to do anything underneath the Friday the 13th umbrella. Again, going back, they can use anything they want. There's no restrictions on what they can use in this TV show. The movie rights are a completely different thing. They are tied up at New Line and are super messy and probably won't be untangled anytime soon. But as far as us chickens in the television industry roost, we have access to anything and everything that Friday the 13th has done up until this point. So that's fantastic. So we know going into this series now, we don't have to worry about them being restricted, about them not using certain parts of the mythology or the lore. We know that everything is now on the table. So as a fan, that definitely gets me more excited for this show, now knowing that there's no restrictions like there was before. That's great to hear. So interestingly, Fuller also described the show as a pre-makequel series, though he declined to elaborate. A pre-makequel series. I'm not really sure what that means. Pre-remake all series. So I'm guessing that the majority of the show takes place before the first Friday the 13th, but they're also going to elaborate on future events at the same time. So we'll do like flash forwards in time, but kind of it's going to take place before the first movie. Something like that. It sounds really complicated, but either way, as long as I get Jason Voorhees and I get some wicked kills, that's all I really care about. So, Kane shared the following statement when he took over as showrunner. So, the showrunner said the following: "From the moment I watched Jason Voorhees squeeze a guy's eyeball out of his socket in glorious 3D, at the tender age of 8 years old, I knew my creative path was someday destined to converge with the man behind the mask. Nothing defined my childhood more than growing up in the golden age of the slasher flick, and nothing's defined the genre more than Friday the 13th. I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to contribute a chapter to this iconic franchise, particularly with such a fearless partners as Peacock and A24. Yeah, I mean, A24, man, they put out some really highbrow, great content. And I'm sure they're going to do great with this series. But I'm really cautiously optimistic. I'm kind of worried and, like I say, cautiously optimistic. So I'm going to wait until I start seeing a trailer, a bit of marketing, until I start judging this series. But at the moment, I'm a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie. So we're still not sure what to expect from Crystal Lake, a bunch of camp counselors ignoring a young Jason until he drowns and his mother plots her revenge. Yeah, so basically the plot of what happens sort of before the first movie, if you like. But at least we know that they can build towards the unstoppable masked maniac getting axed with a bunch of teens after paying a visit to his favourite sporting goods store. Fuller will also serve as a showrunner and executive producer. Victor Miller, who wrote the first movie, will executive produce alongside Mark Toberoff, Robert Barzamine, however you say that, and A24. What do you guys think of this casting news? So, we have plenty of great information here. This story is about Linda Cardellini here coming in to play Pamela Voorhees, which has raised my excitement. The fact that they have no restrictions as well on the lore, that's raised my excitement even more. But now I just need to see a little bit of marketing, maybe a little bit of a trailer or a teaser, and then I'm going to be fully on board, going to be there day one. Could not be more excited. I've been waiting for a Friday the 13th movie forever, and the fact that the rights are tangled up with the movie absolutely sucks, because it's been such a long time now since we've had a movie or any content around Friday the 13th, and it's kind of criminal because we just need more Jason Voorhees on our screen. But guys, what do you think of this news of Hawkeye's wife, Linda Cardellini, coming in to play Pamela Voorhees? Do you think it's a good casting, a bad casting, somewhere in the middle? And are you excited for this upcoming Peacock Crystal Lake series? Let me know down below. I would love to know your thoughts, comments, and opinions. As always, thank you so much for joining me here, guys. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel. I would love to have you guys on board as subscribers. That would mean a lot. And as always, I will see you in the next video.